All right, so now I'm going to show you how to create an assignment in Google Classroom. You'll go to your class. Again, this is the main page, so you want to go to the class that you actually want to create an assignment in. You'll click Classwork, and then you will click Create. From here, you'll press Assignment. We can go over what all these others do, but for now, we're going to click Assignment, and we will call this Journal Entry Number 1. We can give your instructions here to provide clarity on your assignment. And over here, when you are assigning your assignment, you can assign to multiple classes or specific students. Maybe you have a student that is absent, or you want to give different assignments to different students. That's one way of doing that. You'll have your point total here. You can assign any point value you want, and then your date, your due date, and a time. I find it important to do a time because any work that comes in after that point, you will get an email or a notification that that child's work is technically late. Also, it gives reminders to the student of when due dates are coming up, so those are pretty important to do. You can also assign a topic. If you've already created those, you can just click which topic it's going to be, or you can create a new topic. Maybe this is homework. And so that new topic will now be created in your topics page on your classwork. So from here, you're going to press the Add button. This is assuming that you've already created the template for whatever you're working on. If you haven't, you can, of course, create it now in the Google Classroom assignment. So that's with the Create button. But we're going to assume that we already have the assignment template that we want to use. So I'm going to go to Google Drive. In other videos, I've talked about how you might do a file and make a copy. But if you're wanting to really standardize your workflow, make it easier for the student, you really want to have it in a Google Drive. So I've got my recent files here. The one I want to use is the journal entry. If I can't find it, I can actually just search for it. I have 2 copies of them. One is a docx file, again, that I show in another video, and one is the Google Drive or Google Docs version. So I'm going to attach that one because I find it easiest for the students and, again, for workflow purposes. Once I've attached that file, I'm going to come over here and make sure I select Make a Copy for each student. Again, you have other options, can edit the file. That means all the students can edit the same file. Middle school teachers, beware. But making a copy for each student is generally what you want to do. Maybe you just want them to view the file. Depends on your assignment. You can add multiple files to this. Maybe you have instructions. Again, you could add to your assignment. You could include your instructions, add that, and then just have a view only for that assignment. So I can go up here, I can schedule it, I can save as a draft, or I can go ahead and immediately assign the assignment. Again, we'll talk about at different times what it would look like to do a rubric or originality reports. We're not really going to get into that now. But I'll go ahead and assign the assignment. And as it's working on that, I'm going to show you what it actually looks like from the student side. So I'll come over here, and this is the student account, and you can kind of see they might need to press refresh because a new assignment has been made. And for this particular class, I have in the settings that classwork doesn't come up on the standard stream. It's going to come up in the classwork tab or in this upcoming box over here. So you can see what it looks like for the child. So they're going to come over here to classwork. They will click on this assignment. It makes it a little bit easier for them to actually say view assignment. But if they didn't do that, they can open the document straight from that point, and here's what the document looks like. So they have an opportunity to then actually edit the file and write their response. And once they are done with the response, they have two options in turning it in. One option is to turn it in up here with the turn in button. Okay, so once they have written their response, my favorite food is blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they've written their response. They can turn it in here, and Google Docs is actually the only one that does this. Google Slides doesn't have a turn in button up here. I don't believe Drawings does either. So Google Docs is actually the only one that has the button up here. So it would probably be better if you just teach your students to go back. And again, this view assignment, if they are taught to open their assignment this way, then they're going to see their work is here. So they could have clicked that and it would have opened in a new tab, but their turn in button is also here. So I would suggest trying to teach your students to go through that channel for turning work in. So once I, as the student, B Spirit, has already completed the work, I would press turn in. It's going to ask me if I just want that particular attachment. Again, as a student, I could have added or created an assignment and added to this work. So I would turn the assignment in. It's going to take a second. And they can see that if they want to unsubmit, they can do that. But now, when the child opens up the work, once it is submitted, they actually cannot change it. So once their work has been turned in, they do not have editing access anymore. They would actually have to request editing access from me as the teacher. So that's a really important thing. Once their work is turned in, they really can't change it. So they are basically awaiting me to grade this particular assignment. Notice that this dot turned to a gray color because they don't have the work anymore. On the stream, they have no work upcoming, which is pretty nice. So they are pretty much done as the student. So we'll go back over to what it looks like as the teacher. So as a teacher, again, I'm going to press refresh because the student has now submitted the work. And I'm going to see that I have one student that has turned it in and one that still hasn't, that it is assigned. So on this, again, I can view assignment, and this is the teacher's view of the assignment. I see one of my students hasn't completed it and one has. So if I click on the student that has completed the work, this is what my teacher portal, grading portal, basically looks like. So a couple things to note here. I can add a comment to the individual student. They will get an email about this. Maybe this student still hadn't completed it or didn't use complete sentences, whatever it might be. I could add a comment, a general comment about the assignment here. I can also go in and notice that as the teacher, since I'm viewing this work, I'm actually in suggesting mode. I can change that if I want to do direct editing, or if I'm helping them edit their work, again, it may be useful to be in suggesting mode. So if I were going to be in suggesting mode, I might change something on here. So I'm going to press return here and notice that it's going to come up to the child whenever they get their returned work as a suggestion. They will either be able to accept the suggestion or reject the suggestion. So those are really nice tools to be able to use as you're helping a child maybe edit or fine-tune their work. You also have the ability to comment on the work, and you can do that in a couple different ways. So maybe I think they should use a different word other than favorite. So I'll select the word favorite. I could either add a comment here, or if for some reason that bubble isn't showing up, which it generally should be, you can also add a comment from this little icon up here. There's also a shortcut, Command Option M, if you are a shortcut person. So I'll click the comment here, and maybe I'll say word choice. Okay, and my English teachers out there and history teachers, actually anyone that assigns any type of written work knows that you generally have to use the same comment again and again and again in work. And eventually it would be nice if you had a comment bank. Well, Google noticed that and recognized that they should include that in their options for grading work. So again, maybe I'm doing word choice. I can type in the word and my options, my comment bank is going to come up here. Now, you actually have to establish and create your comment bank as you go. And I've had a comment bank for a while, so I actually have some choices here that I can choose from. I can comment on the work, and again, that is there. They can either resolve it, hide it, a variety of different things. But let's go back to what it looks like to actually create a comment bank. So if I were going to create a comment bank, I'm going to make sure that this option menu over here is expanded. It's a side panel over here. Again, you may want to leave this open. It gives you the ability to go ahead and plug in grades, private comments, but it also has this option right here of comment bank. And what you can do is, as you find that you are being repetitive in some of your comments, then you can actually add things to your comment bank. And that becomes very, very nice because, again, if I have a word, maybe they need to capitalize. Okay, I have a bank already established that I can choose from. And I just type in basically a keyword for that particular assignment. So that's how you do the comment bank. You put a comment on the actual work. Now,